Good evening and welcome to the news on DBS television. Before we get the news in full, we shall first give you the headlines. In an accident resulting to a fire in Chang, West region of Cameroon, dozens of people have lost their lives and several others have been severely wounded in the same accident. Traders of Marché A in the town of Chang are disgruntled about the new council's management and have taken action in order to bring change. In Ghana, ex-president Jerry John Rawlings has finally been buried in the capital Accra after he was given a state funeral. Those were the headlines. Next is the news in full. Don't go away. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the primetime newscast on DBS television. Thanks for coming back to us. Now let's get the news in full, presented by me, Cynthia Ngwemo. A tragic accident that occurred in the early hours of this Wednesday, January 27, in the West region of Cameroon, claimed dozens of lives, according to reports. The accident involves a 70-seater bus belonging to Menua Express Travel Agency, which is reported to have collided with a truck carrying petrol while on a journey to Chang and caught fire right away. This took place at the famous Falaise de Chang area, causing several people to die burned in the flames. Official counts say only few people survived from the bus full of passengers. Police and firefighters arrived at the scene and transported the survivors to the nearby hospital after they sustained severe injuries. It is said that the truck involved was transporting adulterated fuel when the accident occurred at the cliff in Chang, Menua division of the West region of Cameroon. We remain in the West region of Cameroon, where traders in Marché A in the town of Chang have been unable to contend with the activities of the mayor or that of the municipality towards them. In a bid to regularize the situation, they carried out a protest march onto the council premises, as Mange Venasius tells us in the following report.
No to dictatorship, no to confiscation of contracts, no to illegal increase of council rent are some of the revendications of over 411 traders at Marché A in Chang, a locality in Menua division. These traders complain that the mayor of the municipality has failed to understand the problems of his people. When the mayor came, they said he tactfully withdrew contracts that were signed with the council. This was followed by an unexplained increase of rent in the market to exorbitant rates of up to 50,000 francs from 4,000 francs CFA. According to the spokesperson, Atefak Kengang Pokorantin, the economic background of Chang is the nearby Anglophone regions that are completely deserted. Coupled with the effect of the crisis, Chang is one of those localities, as they say, where the market was completely locked down due to COVID-19 pandemic for 4 months. The question of insecurity in the market is one of the issues they are complaining of. After paying 1,000 francs each month for security, they don't understand how shops could be vandalized, and the mayor who collected the money is tight-lipped. With these complaints, they have gathered at the council premises to
Primo, qu'il nous remet nos contrats de bail et qu'il nous laisse payer les mêmes taux qu'avant jusqu'à ce que tout se soit rétabli.
Collect their contract and ask the mayor to allow them pay the rent as they were till things change economically. Council authorities, as at press time, are yet to make a statement.
Cameroon is gradually positioning herself as a key nation in bauxite exportation in the near future. Following the discovery of this mineral in the Adamawa region, the government is working to launch exploitation in the near future. Mange Venasius has details of this story in the following report.
On the Minim Matap Makam and Gaundal plateau lies huge reserves of bauxite. Experts confirm that Cameroon is blessed with enormous deposits of high quality that places Cameroon as one of the producers of this mineral in the world that could be exploited for a long period.
We are very pleased to announce that we have found over 1 billion tonnes of high-grade bauxite on the plateau that we have been drilling at the moment. Now, 1 billion tonnes, we are looking to build a bauxite mine that will start, we would like to be in construction early next year or to mid next year. We can be mining for many decades to come.
The Ministry of Mines, Industry and Technological Development visited different exploration sites of the project and upon inspection attest to this bright future.
The reserves are said to be of a good quality and a huge quantity, and we are hoping that on this site very soon will be developed a project which will bring development for the population around and resources, budgetary resources for the state.
With the geotechnical studies and exploration license awarded to Camalco, a branch of an Australian public mining company, the exploration phase of the project is expected to follow this positive discovery.
Our permit research finishes in July. We will then finalise the mining permit application with the Ministry of Mines. We would like to be in construction in 2022.
A project that should take into consideration the preoccupation of the local population directly impacted, as well as the directives of the government.
Stakeholders in land tenure in Cameroon have been discussing ways to ameliorate land conflicts in the country. This occurred during a national forum dubbed Semaine Foncier. Ate Bonaventure highlights some challenges that land tenure in Cameroon is facing. His report.
Land-related problems in Cameroon are usually a source of conflicts, not only between locals, but also between indigenous populations and exploitation or industrial companies that grab huge portions of land for their commercial activities. Studies have highlighted that more than 80% of court cases in Cameroon, especially in rural areas, are land disputes. Accusing fingers sometimes point at government officials for masterminding or supporting land grabbing by influential individuals for selfish reasons. The third edition of the Land Week has kicked off in Yaoundé under the tutelage of the Minister of State Property, Surveys and Land Tenure. It has brought together different stakeholders to examine the above-mentioned challenges and seek better ways to revamp the sector that has been marred by unnecessary disputes. Demographers have underscored the need for a review of the national land policy, which was last brought to the table of discussion in 1974.
Now in the east region of Cameroon, Kribi One Council has engaged in a low-cost housing project of over 500 homes to accommodate part of the growing population. This project comes as more and more people in Kribi are living in inadequate housing conditions due to the population pressure. Vanessa Shuyong has the details of the story in the following report.
The town of Kribi is fast growing in Cameroon in terms of industrialization and consequently in population. Following the huge increase in the population of the chief town of the Ocean Division and no adequate demographic assistance, access to decent housing has become a nightmare for inhabitants. With regards to this, the Kribi One Council has taken steps to facilitate the people's access to adequate housing by undertaking a low-cost housing project.
For the pilot phase, but he can go among that, but we just want to start with this phase, pilot phase, to be sure that all of our involvement partners can be followed.
The project has financial support from partners based in the USA. A participatory consultation to that effect was held on Tuesday with social actors who have a better understanding of the needs of the people. This took place under the auspices of Nuhu Bello, Senior Divisional Officer for the Ocean Division, who lauded the initiative, calling on the actors to work together for the well-being of the people.
And we ask to all the actors to work together to build this city. We've constructed so many houses for the population. We think that if all the actors are together, we'll have good houses for our population.
The project is a promising one, but the people hope it finally gets to see daylight, unlike many others promised in the past.
Back in the West region of Cameroon, the Regional Delegation of Economy, Planning and Regional Development has carried out a working session in order to evaluate the budget or the accomplishment of projects for the year 2020. According to the spokesperson, Fonkam Jumesi Louis Serge, the execution rate is not satisfactory at all due to the mismanagement of funds. Nde Vanessa Shuyong once again has the details of this story.
The Minipat Regional Committee of the West Region has carried out an evaluation of the fourth quarter of public investment budget of the year 2020. The fiscal execution rate is about 84.5, that is 3%, ahead of the performance this January 2021. An execution rate assessed to be less compared to previous years. According to the Regional Delegation for Economy, Planning and Regional Development, 2 divisions are slack in their execution. These are the Noon and Bangorang divisions, who have 3 major projects non-executed. Reports from Minipat Noon division states that from 2018 to 2020, projects to rehabilitate roads have not been carried out. The Opankam division, tagged as business mayors, have failed due to conflict of personal interest, thereby working against the well-being of the population, a malpractice which ought to be reported by the media.
We have a recommendation that is the media should come out and publish what has been distinguished as malpractices. And the major lesson is that a mayor having less than 90% by the 30th of September is not diligent. That's the conclusion of the exercise. If you see that a mayor or a council is below 90% by the 30th of September, know very well that malpractices are being identified in his councils.
Again, report from the Sectoral Commission says that projects from Bafang, Bawa and Baku divisions respectively no longer exist. They were dismissed by the mayors. In Bafang, out of 12 projects, just 2 have been implemented. Baku had 6 with 3 executed, and Bangwa 14 with 5 currently being implemented and 5 at 0% execution rate. The evaluation rate is, however, not all discouraging. The Ndeye division has recorded a 97.53% execution rate, and the Bafoussam municipality tops the list with 100% execution.
The Minister of Youth Affairs, Mununa Futsu, has presided over the 3rd preparatory meeting ahead of the National Youth Week. The meeting that took place both physically and online was an opportunity to create the national and local organizing committees that will handle the preparations for the commemoration of the day, scheduled to hold with strict respect of COVID-19 barrier measures. Let's now listen to Mununa Futsu, who tells us more.
This 3rd and last preparatory meeting permitted us to, first of all, give some information, major information, and secondly, to assess the preparatory activities in the different committees. Official launching ceremony of the 55th edition of the Youth Day will take place in Meri, the Amare Division, Fano Region, under the theme Youth Resilience, Challenges and Opportunities in Time of COVID-19. The celebration will be in persons and in virtual, in digital. It means that all the activities will be implemented in person, physically, and online.
Now out of Cameroon, Ghana's former president, who is of late, has finally been laid to rest in the capital Accra today, Wednesday, January 27, 2020. Mr. Rawlings died on the 12th of November 2020 at the age of 73 after he suffered a short illness. His body had been lying in the state since Monday, and hundreds of Ghanaians have been taking the opportunity to pay their final respects to the former president. Amongst the crowd were Ghana's President Nana Akufo-Addo, lawmakers and a host of other dignitaries who also paid their final tribute to him. Jerry J. Rawlings' burial was supposed to have taken place earlier on December 23, but was delayed because Ghana's political leaders disagreed on some logistics of his funeral. His state funeral rituals took place with strict enforcement of coronavirus restrictions. In Mali, the junta which ousted former President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta from power last year through a coup has been dissolved. This information is contained in a decree which states that the National Committee for the Salvation of the People is dissolved. This decision comes after more than 5 months when the military staged a coup on August 18, 2020, leading to ex-President Ibeka's removal from power. It also follows a call from the 15-member Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, to disband the junta. The military junta briefly governed Mali after the coup and finally remained in place even after an interim civilian government was created. Mali's interim government, which was scheduled to rule for 18 months, has therefore dissolved the military body and is expected to hold elections for a new president at the end of the 18-month period. They are still left with just 14 months. And in news out of Africa, farmers in India have undertaken massive strikes in the country against new farming laws introduced by the government, which would loosen rules around the sales, pricing and storage of farm produce, which have protected Indian farmers from the free market for decades. Farmers fear that the new law would weaken their bargaining power, leaving them vulnerable to exploitation by private companies. Clashes erupted between striking farmers and police as tens of thousands of Indian farmers stormed the capital, New Delhi, demanding the repeal of the law. The protests have turned violent with results of at least one death. Leaders of the striking farmers' union in India have condemned the deadly violence, blaming the chaos on deviating elements amongst the peaceful rioters, but however insisted that they would not call off the protest. The violence on Tuesday interrupted Republic Day celebrations, a national holiday that marks the anniversary of India officially adopting its constitution on the 26th of January 1950. That marks the end of this edition of the news. Thank you for watching, and we do tell you to stay with us for other programs coming up on DBS television. See you tomorrow, same time, same station. Good night.